that are emitting payee or even public sectors. When we check our system, because of how robust our system is, and we discover that the list of companies, the list of staffs in the company, all of them have not gotten their card, we send a message to their accountant encouraging them that only 5 of your staff have their ATCC card. Kindly get a form and give to your staff because it is free of charge. And as much as you are deducting money from their salary, they are entitled to it. So that's why my colleague was asking you the other time, maybe you have a card. You don't have, no worries, my colleague will attend to you. So from our end here, we also give the accountant an update telling them that this card is compulsory, is an evidence of payment for the staff. Get it for them as soon as possible.
Is this every year?
No, it's not. My colleague will attend. It's not every year, but we will talk more about that card. So from our end here, as much as we monitor the activities of taxpayers, and the accountant now decide that okay, this money I've been deducting from my staff salary, it's time for me to go and pay. Maybe because we have sent an SMS to them, or because we have sent their list along to LRS for further investigation, and they've gotten in touch with them. And the accountant now decided, okay, I want to go and pay. How then do we now track that payment? How do we now get the information concerning that payment? From the bank, it is expected that while the accountant or individuals or the association, while they are making payments, an agency code will be used for them, depending on the nature of what they are paying for. The revenue code will be used, and also their pay ID. But the most important thing is that all these codes that we have in place are not just there for fun. It is expected that at the bank, while posting the transaction, the teller make use of the correct pay ID. If I'm making payment for payee now, I'm remitting for payee on behalf of my staff, it's expected that revenue code and the agency code for payee is used, not that of lands, not that of maybe environmental use. But in some cases, we discover that wrong pay ID, wrong agency code, or wrong revenue code are made use of. So when somebody now brings a teller, maybe we send an SMS that you have not paid, they can call us back that we just made payment. What is the evidence of payment? They can tell us, okay, we have a teller with us. That teller is not an evidence of payment. Yes, it's not. The evidence of payment we are expecting from taxpayer is that automated receipt. We have a copy here. This is the copy of the automated receipt. The reason why we want this automated receipt is that at the point of posting the transaction, it is expected that this receipt will be generated. But once that transaction is not posted, there will not be a receipt, and that money will not get to their corporate account. The money will just be hanging mid-air. So a taxpayer can still be claiming that, okay, I've paid. But once you don't have the automated receipt, it's not enough evidence. So what we now do is that we now try from our hand as much as possible, encouraging taxpayers that when you go to the bank to make payments, make sure you get your receipt. But we've had so many instances whereby the bankers will tell the taxpayer, there's no network, come back next week. But they've made the payment, they've collected the cash, and they've given them a copy of the teller. They will tell them to come back next week. It should not be so. We encourage our taxpayer that even if they don't give you this receipt, as much as they have posted that transaction in the ePay application that is with them, if there is no network, maybe they are posting online, offline, an automated, a temporary receipt will come up. That is if it is offline. That temporary receipt will now be printed on a plain sheet of paper like this. And once that temporary receipt has been printed, it will give all the information concerning the taxpayer as well. So it will serve the same purpose with the automated receipt. But you know, human being, it is when transactions have not been posted at all. Maybe they just collect the teller and put it on one side. They will just tell them, come back next week. Alpha Beta is not giving us network, as if we are the one that is packaging the network yet. They will tell you, come back next week. When you get back next week, they will tell you, Alpha Beta is not giving us network, come back next month. We've had so many cases like that. And because some taxpayers, they don't have the time, they will just put the teller one side. That is enough evidence that I've made payment. So we try as much as possible to track the payment from our ending. And when we discover that the payment is not dropping, we send another SMS to taxpayer. We We have sent one before, we've not paid yet, please kindly go and pay. And then also, the Ebsrcm also gives us the ability to generate reports. We can only generate the accurate report when these transactions are posted in their corporate accounts, when the correct agency code, the correct revenue code are being used. But once all these have not been used, the report we are generating will not give accuracy. It will not show the amount, the total amount which is supposed to show. And even from the Ebsrcm and their ePay, we have the ability to generate reports concerning each individuals. Yes, we have what we call customer statement. That customer statement is just like a bank statement with the Lagos State government. This shows all your transactions so far with the Lagos State government. This is a copy. It will give you all the information, the payment that the company has made so far. Yes, we have for companies and we have for individuals as well. So likewise, this report, when we generate it from our end, some companies that we have their email address, we do send copies to them, telling them to reconcile what they have with the receipt that is with them. So after making sure that the receipt has come out, the automated receipt or the temporary receipt, what then do we now do? Because taxpayer need to take this receipt, maybe one day they need to take it to agencies for service. How do the agency now know that this receipt that the taxpayer they are tendering to him or her is original? That takes us to the validation of receipt. Validation of receipt can be done in two ways. We have the SMS and also the online method which we can make use of. On that receipt, we have some phone numbers listed. All these phone numbers, these tiny numbers here, they are phone numbers. So what we just do is that these two numbers at the edge here, this number will also appear on the temporary receipt if it's offline posting. So these two numbers, we put LASD at the front, we just text it to the phone number, just one of it. We'll get the response. That response will tell us the name of the taxpayer, the amount that was paid, and the date of payment. This will show us that okay, this receipt can be used to render the service to taxpayers as at when due. And we have the online. That one can be done via our website, whereby you can do the validation of the receipt. We do enumeration, ma'am. You do that, okay? Thank you. We do validation, like it's noted there that all agencies are to validate receipts before services is being given to taxpayers. So it's expected that before you can render service to taxpayer, you have to validate the receipt to make sure that it is yes, it is genuine receipt. And the enumeration from our end is a continuous thing. We do it on a daily basis. What do I mean by that? All the necessary information we need to get from companies. Once we get it, we try as much as possible to update our system every day. Once we discover that the taxpayer have changed their address, or when we see a new taxpayer, we bring in their profile and use it to update the system. What about those people that are individuals? Maybe they are not traders, they are not under association. How then do we bring them into taxment? We have what we call self-assessment. It's expected that at this stage, you are not a payee staff and you are not under any association whereby you can come into the taxment. So you can easily walk into e-service point. We talked about the e-service point the other time. Or you walk into a bank, you get the form. The form, at the back of that form, I don't have a copy of that form, at the back of that self-assessment form, all categories of earning per year is there, level by level. You just look at what you are earning, the range whereby you fall into. What am I earning per year? Just beside it, you have a tax which has been computed and you need to pay for that year. It's just once in a year. And immediately you have made the payment and the receipt has been generated for you. You fill that form, you submit it to the bank or you submit it to the e-service point staff to bring it to us and get a card in that place. So from our end there, we try as much as possible to update our system, making sure that the revenue is coming in appropriately and is getting to the right channel. Not just that, we do send reports on weekly basis and monthly basis, even yearly basis to the government. making sure that, okay, the government can see at a glance what their connections are and where they are lacking. And this also helps the government to make their budget appropriate. If I'm getting 2 million this year, it helps the government to prepare for next year, hoping to get 4 million. And with that in place, the government have been able to increase their revenue so far in Lagos State. So that's why we are here, making sure that things are working perfectly for the government. Yes, sir.